Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest all the way from Sweden. Frida, the lead vocalist from Rexoria, is joining us. Frida, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for letting me be here.
Now, you've got a new album that's just on the horizon. Why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's our second album that will be released through the label Pride and Joy Music in Germany. It will be released October 18th and it's called Icebreaker. We recorded the album May this year in the studio Friedman in Gothenburg. It's a pretty famous studio, Hammerfall, Arch Enemy, In Flames and bands like that. I recorded that before, so it's a really good production, and Fredrik Nordström was a really good producer to help us to create a really nice sound for this album. So I think I think our fans really will enjoy this one.
And where did you get the name Icebreaker? How did you come up with it?
Yeah, that's a pretty interesting story. We were talking a bit about our sound and our image, how we want to present ourselves, and we have incorporated some folk influences in our music and in our image, and we're talking about a lot of the environment and how people are not really taking the environment seriously and the earth, and we were trying to create a song that will remind people on how badly we treat earth, and that's why we call it Icebreaker, just because we want this album to be an icebreaker for people to maybe recognize us more, but also the song is really much about how we're treating the earth as human beings. So that's why the name became like it is now.
What makes this different than your previous album, Queen of the Light?
Oh, it's a lot different, I think, myself, because it's a lot more speed to begin with. The drums are totally different than before. We have tried to make a bigger sound, a more powerful sound. We added more keyboards that we didn't have before, and I sing in a very different kind of way. Even if it doesn't show really much in the first single we did, you will most certainly hear my differences in my voice throughout the album. So it's a pretty big difference, but I think people will enjoy it and think that's a big improvement from our last album that we did.
And for people who don't know, how long has the band been together?
Around 3.5 years now, but Jonas and Martin and I have been playing in a band before Rexoria, but we started up Rexoria about three years ago, and then we added Christopher as a friend to the band, and we have been sticking together now for this 3.5 years. We still don't have a bass player, but we don't think we're gonna get one either, so we have two guitarists, me on vocals and keyboard, and Martin on the drums then.
And who are some of the influences of the band?
Myself, I have really much been inspired by power metal bands and heavy metal bands, mostly new ones. Like Battle Beast is one of my favorites, of course. We are playing a show with them before. Bands like Avantasia, Ed Guy, and stuff like that, because I love the melody and the feeling of the songs. But Jonas, who is my co-writer on the songs, he is more from a heavy background. He like more stuff like Arch Enemy and stuff like that. So we're mixing more the heavy with the more melodic, and I think that's a pretty nice way to go for our sound in Rexoria.
Yeah, it reminded me, if you don't mind, of some of the late 80s hair metal bands that, the Iron Maidens and stuff like that were going on. I hear a little bit of that. Are any of those bands an influence?
Jonas is like the biggest Iron Maiden fan ever from the beginning, but now he has started to listen to more harder stuff than that. But he has like Eddie tattoos all over his body, so it's not such it's a coincidence that we have some of the 80s tunes, but we like that sound as well, and we like to involve that in our artwork as well, and have more like the 80s style, but mix it in with a more modern sound. So I think we have something that we all are very happy with.
Yeah, you bring up Eddie. You have your own little mascot that you have on all your album covers. Does she have a name? Or is it Rexoria?
No, actually not. We have just in the band called her Aini. I'm not really sure why. It's just something we came up with, but we didn't really know that she was going to be on all the albums and all the covers. It was Aini was the name that came up on her first EP, and then somehow we managed to keep her in a way. She wasn't really supposed to look like what she's doing on this album, but it came out really good. So now I think we're gonna have to keep her as a mascot as well, because she has followed us throughout the years now.
And you speak of your EP, The World Unknown. We play a lot from that EP.
3 of those songs were also recorded in Studio Fredman, and that we were really happy with that sound. So that was why we stuck with him through this album to record there as well, because we really liked the sound he managed to fix on Soldier of the Sun and World Unknown and Valiance in War. So we think that's a really, really good one.
We're really here, though, to talk about the new album and the new single, Reach for the Heavens in Time. Why don't you tell us about that?
It was one of the first songs I wrote for this album. I was really trying to find my own kind of way to incorporate folk influences in the songs, and I really wanted to have a nice melody that was with a lot of feelings, even if the music behind it was really more power metal style, more heavy. And I think we really liked that sound from the beginning. We wanted this one to be a single, even the first time we wrote it. When I just was playing the piano and singing, we thought that this is going to be a good one. So we decided that this was going to be a single really fast. So I'm really happy with it, and I think we managed to put out our sound that we want to be Rexoria in this one.
Is there a message you're putting across in the song?
Not so much, but it's still coming back to the thing I talked about with Icebreaker, that we have a lot of undertone regarding the nature and the heavens and everything around it, and how we're really not doing our best for the earth and the environment right now. So it still comes back, but in a really subtle tone of it.
And the new album is coming out October 18th. It's going to be called Icebreaker. You'll be able to get that on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, and Amazon. The new single's available at all those locations as well, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And you have any upcoming gigs?
Yeah, we're going to have a release show on the 19th of October in the Netherlands. It's the first time we're going to play in the Netherlands. It's on a festival called Rocktoberfest 2019, I think. And that's going to be really fun. And after that, we might have 2 bigger kind of nice shows coming up in November, but we have to keep quiet about that for a while. But yeah, we have some stuff going on after the release party.
That's pretty awesome. And they can find anything else out about the band at Rexoria.com. All right. Well, Frida, I really appreciate you coming on. Give us a big intro for your brand new single.
Yeah, because this is going to be the new single from our upcoming album, Icebreaker, is called Reach for the Heavens in Time. And I hope that you all will like it really much.